Call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for
Recording in progress.
Monday, July 3rd, 2023. I'd all ask that you please rise for a brief invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as we commemorate our City Council meeting during the 4th of July holiday, we are ever thankful for the many opportunities that our challenging nation provides to all of its citizens. And specifically, I think we cherish in the United States the ability to express our opinions and our beliefs and hold those near and dear to our heart and not have anybody march in and try to tell us something different. We're all free of mind and can do what we want. And what a great blessing that is to remember on the 4th of July as we go about celebrating our country's birthday tomorrow. Tonight, as always, I want to encourage all the members of the City Council to speak their hearts and their minds and on the items on the agenda before us, knowing that in the minds and each and every one of them, we are here to do what is in the very best interest of Batavia and its future. Also tonight, we want to remember those from our community and from throughout our country who are serving on foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America. And we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon each and every one of them. And tonight, as we enter this discussion and the votes that we're about to take, we just ask that each member of the council vote what they feel is in the very best interests of our community as we move forward. We ask for all these blessings and ideas. Amen. Alderman Ajazi, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Miller, Lancy, Beck. Here. Pieper.
Here.
Chanzit.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Solfa. Barron. Here. Lehman. Here. Ayazi.
Here.
Malay.
Here.
Ewer.
Here.
Saron.
Here.
Vogelsinger. 10 of 14 present, Your Honor.
Yes, so we have the necessary quorum to conduct business. Thank all of you for coming on this. Many people consider this to be a holiday weekend, and we're kind of stretching it here a little bit, but the rules are we meet the first and third Mondays of every month. Okay, item 4, reminder, if you're going to speak tonight to the City Council or you're on the council, we ask that you use the microphone that will be before you, and if you're going to speak from the audience, if you'd come up and use the podium with the microphone on it. Going to item number 5, items to be removed, added, or changed on tonight's agenda. Do we have anything?
I would ask that the ordinance related to the amusements be taken off of the consent agenda and just postpone voting on that. I had heard from one of the business owners today who would like to recommend some additional changes to that. And so I'll put it on the July 11th Committee of the Whole meeting so we can discuss it. And there really isn't anything of a timing of it. You know, we're not in a big hurry to pass that. So if we could just remove that one item.
And that, what item is it? It's on the consent agenda, did you say?
H.
What, H? H, okay.
One of the organ grinders think that we're targeting them unfairly?
No.
Do we want to make
For all intents and purposes, our only changes were to remove the fees for the licenses, but it just so happened that in looking through the other verbiage, things that the business owner did not realize were there, they wanted to suggest additional changes based on that. Thanks.
Do we make a motion to remove that from the agenda? Would somebody make that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzit, second by Alderman Lehman, I guess, for the removal of item H on the agenda. Clerk, call the roll.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf. Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Thank you. Barron. Aye. Lehman. Aye. Ayazi.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Pieper.
Aye.
10 yes, no, no, 4 absent.
Motion to remove it is approved. And let the record reflect that Alderman Miller has joined the proceedings, so we now have 11 present for the meeting. Thank you for coming, Alderman Miller.
Welcome.
All right.
be here.
I guess then we need item 6 is the consent agenda. Alderman Chanzit, would you present that, please?
Indeed. Your Honor, the consent agenda reads as follows. To accept and place on file the Plan Commission minutes for May 17th and May 23rd, 2023, the building reports for May 2023, the April and May financial reports, and approvals, the June 23rd, 2023 payroll in the amount of $1,002,094.07, the accounts payable check register in the amount of $1,156,699.21, City Council minutes for June 20th, 2023, Ordinance 23-28 declaring certain property to be a surplus and authorizing the sale thereof, Resolution 23-90-R, authorizing execution of a settlement agreement with Comedy Vault LLC. Your Honor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzit, second by Alderman Beck for the approval of the consent agenda is read. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Chanzit.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Thank you. Barron.
Aye.
Lehman.
Aye.
Ayazi.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Pieper.
Aye.
11 yes, no, no, 3 absent.
Consent agenda is approved. Moving then to item number 7, matters from the public for items not on the agenda. I'm told we have one person in the audience and you'd like to address us. So if you'd come up and at least introduce yourself to us so we know who you are.
Hi, Linda Dorr. I live on the east side over on Hamlet Street. Nice, quiet little neighborhood. So I have some comments and questions about the change to Groot for trash pickup. Some of us here are being told that we have no choice. We're required to pay for services that we don't need and can't use. A lot of us have been putting trash out once a month with a $3 sticker. I don't know, maybe it's $3.25 by now. But Groot is telling us we have to pay $16.75 a month for their smallest container or $12.75 for those of us over 65. We can't opt out. We can't share a container with neighbors. We can't use stickers unless we generate so much trash that we need another container. So just like that, people's costs have quadrupled or worse. According to one post on Nextdoor, Geneva recently renewed its Groot contract with new rates, but they have a pay-as-you-throw option with trash stickers. So why don't we? Another person on Nextdoor is handicapped and she can't get her containers to the curb. Waste Management has a valet program where the driver would get her containers, empty them, return them to her garage door. Groot essentially told her, tough luck. They have no interest in helping her. So to me, it appears that Groot has no interest in customer service. They really only have an interest in exploiting customers in the service of their bottom line. There's nothing ethical about this. It shouldn't be legal to force people to pay for services they don't need and can't use. So it troubles me. I mean, the city didn't necessarily know this, but it troubles me that the city is doing business with a company that is so lacking in conscience and ethics. You know, I mean, I want to say, why would you do this to your residents? It doesn't appear that the citizens of Batavia are benefiting from this deal. So who is benefiting from it? And finally, what was wrong with the waste management contract? Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Chanzit?
I would remark briefly, the discussions 5 years ago, without rehashing the meetings that we already had on this, sort of telegraphed to us that this is where the waste industry is headed, towards that per tip concept. I would say this much. The waste management contract almost felt like a poison pill to to get valet services is a nice thing, but the amount of money it would have cost the average Batavian was ridiculous compared to the contract that we ended up negotiating. Yes, there is a small segment of the population that does see an increase, but for the vast majority of Batavians, it either stays the same or goes down. I'm one of those people who pays more for garbage. I'm one of those people who is not incented to do better with my garbage, which is disappointing. And who stands to make the money here? It's the garbage industry. Those trucks are going to travel every inch of our roads every week, regardless of whether or not I put a socially responsible pile of garbage outside my house or not. And so there was a set cost that they were going to charge. Yes, you're right. It wasn't a fantastic contract, but believe it or not, it was the best contract we could deliver based on what they would offer us. They would not offer us a sticker program. We asked again, are you sure you don't want to offer a sticker program? The answer was, no, we don't. No, we went on to another RFP, and my voice doesn't go high enough, but I could do my impersonation of the crickets that we heard. Nothing. And other communities, we can't look towards what other communities are doing because there's other variables involved here. Possibly in the future, if we band together with other communities and get more people involved, we might have a higher chance of doing that. But we made a policy decision 5 years ago actually to abandon that. So part of us did it to ourselves. I probably would have made different decisions, but moving forward, we certainly learned something from it. And I do believe that this is the best contract we could deliver based on the companies that we're working with. And with all due respect, these are trash companies.
One person on Nextdoor, I mean, I don't know if this is if the council has any, if the city can offer this as a suggestion, but one person on Nextdoor said, if they don't want to deal with stickers, why can't there be a barcode on the trash container?
It's already in there in many cases. The technology exists, and in many cases, the bins are already ready to go. It just depends on what community you're in and what technology is there to pick up the garbage. Batavia is not one of those communities that's going to be taking advantage of that technology this year. Yeah,
thank you.
And I'm on your side.
Thank you.
Laura?
Yes, I just wanted to point out on the last comment that we did have a conversation with all of the companies about doing the paper tip program in the toter with the barcode, and they said we were not a large enough community to make that a financially viable option at this time. So hopefully with the improvements in technology, that will be something we can continue to talk to them about. But I did want to clear up that I have worked with someone who contacted me because they are disabled and need assistance. And I was told by Groot that they will work with those individuals. And so if you want to provide me with contact information or something like that, I would encourage the person to call back and ask again, because we were given assurances that individuals with disabilities would be accommodated.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Laura, just one more for clarity's sake. Waste Management also did not offer us another sticker contract,
That's correct.
right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Even our incumbent Waste Management. And I believe that that's why our neighboring community, because they stuck with their incumbent company, and their incumbent company was willing to provide them with a sticker program. Ours was not. Thank you.
The reason I use that poison pill verbiage there is I think they were banking on the fact that we were not going to be able to negotiate a contract in time, and fees would have gone up substantially with the incumbent. So thanks.
I would just further offer up to you, I think there's enough issues, and as the mayor, I've had a lot of people talk to me in the last few weeks about this. I think there's enough people with different stories and different ideas that the council is probably not going to be able to just push this one aside and go on to other stuff. There's going to probably have to be some ongoing conversations and reactions and stories to be told about what is and is not happening. So I would encourage you to you can watch us on TV, or you're welcome to come down, but I would think in the days ahead, well, this is not the last we'll hear of the garbage contract. And
I got so many responses on Nextdoor that Nextdoor sent me an email saying, congratulations, I'm really interested in your post.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be sure to step away from the keyboard, get some fresh air every once in a while. It is an echo chamber sometimes.
I think we are fortunate. We have a very sensitive and realistic and understanding city council here. And I think they get into their neighborhoods because they all represent different parts of the community. And they are here to kind of hear what their residents are saying and what they like and don't like. And their goodness name knows there's enough conversation about this whole situation going on that I'm sure 3 or 4 months from now, we'll probably have another committee meeting where it'll be brought up and different other items will be brought up in this thing because it's a work in progress, I would describe it. And thank you for your leadership in coming down here and sharing some of the community's concerns because that's what we need to understand and to hear. And I appreciate your good efforts in making the effort.
Thank you. I kind of figured the problem was the trash companies, but I didn't have the information, so now I do. Thank you.
Thank you. There's nobody else in the audience, so I guess we can move on then to that. I do not see anybody from the Chamber of Commerce, so they blew us off tonight, so. They what?
They tell us that.
Okay, we'll excuse them. Moving then to item 9, which is ordinance 23-29, establishing SSA number 70. Who's got this one? Should be
How are you going to take that, or you want me to take it?
Alderman Ur.
I guess I'll take it for Alan. Yeah, this is just, you're the thing for establishing the SSA, number 70. And I don't know if, Scott, do you have any other details on that? Can't remember exactly where that's at.
Yeah, this is the property at the southwest corner of Fabian and Kirk, and it's a backup special service area for a futures traffic signal if that should ever be warranted. That would then finance the installation of the improvements there to put in a traffic light if the traffic generated from that development, once it's completed, is warranted.
Thank you.
I would suggest this is a good thing to have in our back pocket, given that across the street from that very large place that's now being built at 545,000 square feet, that there'll be other traffic from other sides of the street, and there probably is going to be a need for a light there sooner than later. And this will give us some financial establishment to help pay for that light when the day comes that we have to put it up. So, anybody else?
Make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second Baldwin Lehman for the approval of Resolution 2329, establishing a special service area number 70. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Malay?
Here.
Ewer?
Aye.
Ewer?
Aye.
Saron?
Here.
Miller?
Aye.
Beck?
Aye.
Pieper?
Aye.
Jansit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman?
Aye.
Ayazi?
Aye.
11 yes, no, 3 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, moving to item 10, which is ordinance 2326, authorizing execution of an annexation agreement for 1535 South Batavia Avenue, Batavia Moose Lodge number 682. Who's got this one? Alderman Ur?
I've got that as well. And this one and ordinance 23-27 go together. But Scott, I know there were some special agreements in this one, if you wouldn't mind speaking to those.
Sure. Yeah. This contains some things that are not standard because of the unusual situation with the property. They do include rezoning of the property to a public facilities and institutional district. It allows for the existing parking situation to continue. It allows for them to connect to all city utilities upon redevelopment of the property, or I should say expansion of the property. If they redevelop the property with residential development or some other type of development, they would then have to amend the agreement so they can comply with all of our land cash and other different types of building and zoning code requirements. They would agree to dedicate 40 feet for the center line for Route 31 if it's ever needed. They would also extend a sidewalk along the north side of Millview along their property line. If the property is redeveloped or if the city wishes to do so, we can do it, and they will grant easements to provide that. We will grant an E1 church/club liquor license as part of this, which actually is a cost savings to them because our license is actually cheaper than the county's license. And then they would also be entitled to continue to have these existing 6 gaming terminals that they have under the county regulations. The city allows only 5, but based on the terms of the agreement, they would be allowed to have up to 6 during the term of the annexation agreement, which is 20 years.
Any questions or comments on this? Nobody else does. I do have a comment. On both of these, I'll be voting no because the only thing I disagree with this is the gaming. Most people know my stance on that, and here we go again. Some organic growth in Batavia on gaming, which I've always had a problem with. Everything else sounds great in there, but that's the one thing that is a thorn in my side. So,
yep, and I share that. I'll be voting no for that same reason.
So.
Other comments? I certainly respect in what the 2 aldermen have said as their concerns, and I'm certainly not going to argue any of that with them. I would just note that the Batavia became the southern neighbor initially of the Moose Lodge in about 1912. And by 1920, they had almost 2,000 kids from throughout the United States of America down there who were orphans, that they raised them, gave them high school and college educations if they could qualify. And there's been a lot of very successful people that passed through Mooseheart over the years and, became very good citizens in their own right, and they're spread all over the country. I will say in our relationship, the city's relationship with Mooseheart, they have been pretty generous to us in the fact that if you go out on West Main Street and right across the street from Batavia High School is the West Side Fire Station, Mooseheart gave us the land for that fire station. Now, if we'd had to buy that, that would have probably been a couple $100,000 very easily, but they gave us that land and said that they appreciated that Batavia had provided them with fire protection, so they were just trying to give something back. Subsequent to that, I don't know if any of you were here, I think maybe Alderman Wolf was, that we annexed 497 acres of the Mooseheart area down there, from everything right across the street from the high school all the way down to Mooseheart Road. And then when you get down to Mooseheart Road, we annexed some land on the west side of the street, which is part of their campus. And the deal was we gave it all as zoning categories. There's about 100 acres of land along Randall Road that's been zoned for business. There's the property right across the street from the Batavia High School football field that's adjacent to the fire station that's been planned in the annexation agreement for it to be a park. It'll be, if it ever is put together, it'll be one of the largest parks in the city of Batavia. And I think it's a great place for the park because if as an example, if this park district ever wants to build a recreation center, I can't think of a better place to have it than right across the street from the high school, because if they put in a swimming pool, then maybe Batavia High School can have a swim team. I just say those types of things. I'm not promoting it, but I think there's a lot of opportunities that Mooseheart's given us. The other interesting factor about this annexation agreement is that they have a plan in their mind, I think, that they want to turn themselves into a senior living community to some degree, and that this annexation we did gives them the ability to build 830 age-restricted living units on that piece of property there on the east side of Randall Road, south of Main Street, and that you can move in. If you buy a house and move in there, you got to be over 55 and have no children or grandchildren in school living with you. So the school district's going to get a lot of taxes out of it, and they aren't going to get one kid out of the place because it's all going to be senior citizens. Now, what demand that may put on our fire department for increased ambulance service with 830 age-restricted living units is probably going to be something we're going to have to deal with. But I think when those of us who were involved in the discussions to do this, it was from a futuristic proposal, it was a very realistic thing for the city to do this, because there was a lot of advantages incorporated in that agreement that for our benefit. So I I would encourage us to support this because our relationship with the moose has been very good over the years. Alderman Chanzit?
Huge demand for chicken strips. You left that out.
Pardon?
A huge demand for chicken strips.
Yeah.
And you also left out the ecologically significant fen that's located back there. There's some amazing pristine waters that are part of the Mill Creek tributary that are absolutely just phenomenal that are back there that we protected as a result of this as well.
The other thing, I've got the bird watchers from all over the northern part of the state of Illinois telling me Randall Road and Mooseheart is the place to come and find all these rare birds. And my friend Ron Dickinson, who passed away this past year, he was an avid photographer down there every year shooting hundreds of pictures of all these birds that were laying in those trees up there. And I guess the birds liked it because nobody was going to bother them. Nobody was going to shoot at them and scream at them or throw anything. It was all out there right along Mill Creek there in that area. It kind of divides the campus. And so that's ecologically, that's a pretty important place for Batavia to have in the future.
Empirically, the birds are only there because the waters of the Fox River are finally clean again. So it's so important to see those birds there.
Absolutely. Okay, no conversation.
Question,
Beck,
clarifying,
Beck?
the fen is on the Mooseheart property, not on the Moose Lodge property, right? Mooseheart, okay.
It's adjacent, but yeah, a short walk.
Well, the Moose Lodge is the Moose Lodges across the United States and several foreign countries are the strength of this whole organization. They're the ones that make this thing work and whatever have you. And they used to have a sticker that they put out from the Batavia Lodge that said, "The lodge closest to home." In other words, Mooseheart was the U.S. World Headquarters of the Moose Lodge, and they're the closest Moose Lodge to the home. So a lot of neat stuff has happened there. Okay, any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
We didn't have a motion yet. Would somebody like to make a motion for ordinance 23-26 authorizing execution of an annexation agreement for 1535 South Batavia Avenue, Moose Lodge, number 682?
Second. Motion by
Alderman
Wolf.
Wolf seconded?
I seconded Wolf.
Well, okay.
Made the motion.
So it's moved by Cerrone, seconded by Wolf.
Other way around.
Other way?
Yep.
Moved by Wolf, seconded by Cerrone? Okay. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman?
Aye.
Ayazi?
Aye.
Malay?
No.
Ewer?
No.
Sarone?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Beck?
No.
Pieper?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Making me work. 3 no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yes. And 3 absent.
Motion's approved. All right, moving to 12, Resolution 23-081-R.
We need to still do ordinance 23-27, which is the actual annexation of the property.
So moved. Two ordinances together. Second.
Okay.
10 and 11 were related.
Yeah, this is 23-27, the last one was 23-26. Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Motion by Wolf and seconded by Cerrone.
Any discussion on that one? This is just a document that annexes the property and kind of sets up the surroundings. Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman?
Aye.
Ayazi?
Aye.
Malay?
No.
Ewer?
No.
Sarone?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Beck?
No.
Pieper?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
8 yes, 3 no, 3 absent.
Motion approved. All right, then, moving to 12, which is Resolution 23-081-R, additional personnel. Who's got this one?
I do, Your Honor.
Alderman Millet?
Yes. This is for additional personnel for the IT department. It's been since, I think 2019 is when we finally got back to staff equal to 2009. As you can imagine, the demands on the tech department for new software, new, you name it, a much larger footprint. There's a need for an additional position for a technician. So any discussion? Mark?
Yeah, just, I wholeheartedly agree that the IT department and probably a lot of departments need extra staff. The whole point of my discussion last week was, I believe, based on market conditions, that it's the wrong pay scale for this job. So that's why I'm voting no.
Yeah, and that's actually
Any other discussion? We have a motion.
I move we adopt Resolution 23018R, authorizing staff to add the position of technician to the information technology staff.
Second.
Second.
Chanzit? Okay, we have motion and second for the approval of Resolution 23-081-R. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll. Oh, do you want to say something? No. Oh, I saw you moving your hand. Sorry. Clerk, call the roll.
Malay?
Aye.
Ewer?
No.
Saron?
No.
Miller?
Aye.
Beck?
Aye.
Pieper?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman?
Aye.
Ayazi?
Aye.
10 yes, 2 no, 3 absent. 2 absent. There's 3 absent. 1, 2, 3?
Soulful Lancy.
But
You're coming up
There were
with
3
15.
no.
I know, my numbers are wrong. 1, 2, 3,
That's what's
4,
throwing me
5,
off.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yes, 2 no, 3 absent. That's still not right.
9 yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. 9 yes. 2 no.
It passes.
Save me.
All right. Then do we go to 13, which is ordinance 2323, authorizing an amendment to the 2023 wage and salary ordinance for non-collectively bargained employees. Alderman Chanzit?
Okay, so with that last item, we do have to amend the wage and salaries ordinances. This adds that position on the pay grade 11, so I would move for approval.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzit, second by Alderman Malay for the approval of ordinance 23-33. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Wolf?
That was 2.
Barron?
Aye.
Lehman?
Aye.
Ayazi?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Ewer?
No.
No. Saron?
No.
Miller?
Aye.
Beck?
Aye.
Pieper?
Aye.
9 yes, 2 no, 3 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, moving to 14, the administrator's report. Laura?
Thank you, Your Honor. Today, I would like to take the opportunity to do our second quarter review of the 2021-2023 Strategic Action Plan. I always start here to show that we've got objectives in each of these 5 areas of economic vitality, transportation, infrastructure, the river, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the second quarter, not any action on the Economic Development Strategic Plan because it was put on hold until there's a decision whether to hire a consultant to study our permit process because there's not sufficient resources to do both of those between now and the end of the year. For the actively marketing Batavia to new businesses, this year we completed our marketing video, which is now complete and posted on our economic development website. And we are almost there with our downtown plan. We had the focus groups come in and take a look at the draft plan and provide comments. And we expect the plan to come back to City Council for approval in the third quarter. And we have 3 streetscape projects that are in planning and expected to be completed. The catenary lights on North River Street are in the design phase. We found out that the arch in Newspaper Boy Alley, we need to amend the plans for that because it needs to be able to accommodate large vehicles such as the fire truck, as well as our large back truck that needs to get back there for the lift station that we have down in that alley. And then also we have 4 entryway signs that are expected to be installed here in the next quarter. It's going to be really exciting to see those new entryway signs since 1983, I think it was. Alderman Beck, do you remember what year?
Later in the 90s, I think.
Gotcha. Alderman Beck's grandfather was the designer and motivator behind those previous signs.
What are we going to do with the previous signs?
We don't have anything that is planned to do with them. So if City Council has ideas that they would like to share on what they'd like to see done with those signs, certainly I'd be in touch with the Historical Museum to find out if they might be interested in maintaining one of those for history's sake. And then in our transportation objectives, the first one being pursuit of a road diet on Route 31. Since the 2 tragic accidents that we experienced here in May, we have worked with IDOT and received approval to move forward with most of that road diet project as a permit process and not through the federal process, which allows it to be implemented much sooner than we had expected. And so we're expecting to be able to implement that as soon as April 2024, so long as our permit gets approved. And then the section from Wilson and Maine will continue to follow that federal process, and we don't expect those changes to take place until 2026. The sharrows and bike lanes, the recommendations for pavement markings are incorporated in the bike and pedestrian plan that will be included in the city's strategic plan for 2024 to 2026. And then the next item was accomplished to collaborate with the Batavia Bicycle Commission on development of an active transportation plan. And our infrastructure objectives. In development of an infrastructure funding policy, we did that very early on in this plan in 2021, and we wanted to bring that same document back to City Council to review and revise as necessary. We were hoping to be able to do that in the second quarter, but unfortunately, due to other priorities, we had to push that out to the third quarter. And then enhancing the safety of bikers and walkers in our neighborhood. That is currently an ongoing discussion. In the last quarter, we had said that many recommendations for improvements were made part of the bike and pedestrian plan that was adopted back in February, but now we are in discussions about additional safety measures, in particular focusing on Route 31. And our river objectives. The first, creating a master plan for the development of our riverfront in collaboration with the Batavia Park District and engaging a consultant Hitchcock Design Group. We've been working on a master plan for the Batavia corridor of the Fox River. We held a joint meeting with the City Council and Park Board on June 6th. Unfortunately, there was not a consensus on which alternative for dam removal and preservation of Depot Pond would be selected. And so City Council will have further discussion about this at the Committee of the Whole meeting on July 11th. This was about actively marketing riverfront development opportunities, and that will be very much informed by the results of the downtown plan. And in the second quarter, as far as identifying ways to capitalize on having a river in the heart of our downtown and getting people to focus more on that natural aspect of our downtown, we collaborated with the Friends of the Fox River. On May 20th, we had a Fox River cleanup day, and the Batavia Environmental Commission, some not-for-profit groups, and residents all got together and participated in that cleanup. And then lastly, our diversity objective. We identified a book for all of us to read together to become more informed about the effects of racism and what it costs everyone. And so we've already had one meeting about the first quarter of that book and had a very good discussion. And so we're continuing to work our way through that. And that is the report on the strategic plan. Does anybody have any questions for me about that?
Questions, Laura?
And then, of course, we are heading into the final 2 quarters of this 3-year plan, and we have sent out an invitation. Looks like the July 24th is a date that works for about half of you, so hopefully we can get together that evening and have a workshop, have a discussion about our next strategic action plan, which would cover the years from 2024 to 2026. Okay, thank you.
We have other business tonight from the alderman?
Just one quick thing. Since the election back in the spring, we haven't done any reorganization. Seeing that Mike was the chair of the City Services Committee, he's no longer on. I've been vice chair of that, but I don't have seniority.
We need to make a motion and give you the title.
I don't have seniority. I'm not in the top 4 to have them.
Normally, we let that go to the members who are on the committee. So, I mean, why don't we hold that to the next committee meeting and add that as an agenda item on the discussion as to how you want to handle that. It's a pretty easy thing to do, I think. And
that's what my thought was, that we just haven't addressed it. So.
Right. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just have a comment.
Certainly.
In my discussions with Mooseheart about a developmental idea, they have no interest in ever developing that land for any purpose whatsoever. So we don't need to keep talking about that.
Well, they signed an annexation agreement that we have that did all those things I talked about.
Right, but they're not going to do it. Just letting you know now.
Well, we'll see. It's a pretty valuable piece of land for them to just sit there with it forever and not do anything, so. All right, anybody else? Alderman Chanzit?
Shout out to the film The Big Lebowski. The neon sign for the bowling alley used in that film was the reason why I was able to take home a 1920s corn shucker made at the Challenge Factory adjacent to the government center. There were about a dozen neon signs that sold for more than the median house price here in Batavia in Walworth, Wisconsin. And this little corn shucker made almost 100 years ago here in Batavia was not anything anyone was interested in. So I was able to pick it up, hoping to drop it off at one of the local nonprofits. We can raise some money for some of the great initiatives that they have going on. But if anyone wants to see it, it's sitting in the creepy van parked outside my house.
It's sitting where?
It's in the creepy van parked outside my house that I picked it up in.
Pete. Anybody else? Well, I guess I'll end with the report that, as you all know, tomorrow is the big day in Batavia for the 4th of July fireworks program. And you've all heard me say this before, but tomorrow night will be the 72nd year that we will have done this program. It's been at several different locations over the years. As the town grew, we keep having to move it further west to find farmland to put it into. But the interesting point about it is that for 72 years, we've never spent any taxpayer money on buying fireworks. All the money for the fire shows from the very beginning have always been totally donated to the community of Batavia by businesses and individuals and visitors and whatever have you. So tomorrow's show is a pretty healthy price tag to it, but it's all been paid for. And we will be collecting donations tomorrow night out there if somebody wants to. And the money, extra money, we just put that in the bank and hold interest on it till next year's show, which hopefully will be able to be fired off the way it was. But I will tell you that I've talked to the police chief about this, and he tells me I can at least mention it. Tomorrow night, there's going to be an added feature at the fireworks. We're going to have a police drone in the sky. And it's going to be flying around, checking up on things and making sure everybody's behaving themselves. And we've used this drone already on several situations in town very successfully. And so the chief's confident that he has men that know what they're doing with it. And so that'll be a new feature. If anybody's asked, what's that little plane flying around up there? Well, I guess it's a little plane, isn't it, Chief?
Yes.
Okay. It's not little, but you can't get in and ride around.
It'll be lit up. You'll be able to see it if you're staring up at the sky.
Okay, all right. So anyway, that'll be a new feature of it. And the last thing I guess I want to talk about is that there used to be, probably still is, a joke within the interior ranks of the Batavia Police Department that tomorrow night when that show ends at 10 after 10 or whatever, it's supposed to be 40 minutes and we started at 9:30, so it's about 10 after 10. That historically is the largest and biggest traffic jam we have in Batavia the entire year. Nothing else ever comes anywhere near to comparing to what we have there. And we've kind of compounded the numbers out there with the development of Randall Road Corridor because now all those businesses provide all this nice parking lot where all kinds of people can go park. And I've had some people say to me, well, I'm fighting to get over to Walmart or Target or one of the Jewel where they got washrooms and I can need to go to the washroom. I can just go in the store and whatever. So there's a lot of people that already have preset in their mind where they're going to park their car. And the chiefs, I think, have done a wonderful job in trying to organize that thing. So when the show is over with, we don't let any cars on Main Street for what, 20 minutes or?
At least 20 minutes, yeah.
So that we get all the crowd can walk down Main Street and get to the parking lot where their cars are or whatever have you. And so that'll be a feature down there. And the other aspect of it, the Batavia Community Band is going to play tomorrow night, and they've got over 40 people coming to be in the band. And as you know, we allow them to use the council chambers on nights when nobody's in here to be the practice room for the band. And the director of the band, John Heath, told me last week that the practice he had last week, which was the last one before tomorrow night's presentation, it was the best practice he'd ever had with the band. So he thinks they're really tuned up and it's going to give a really dynamic presentation tomorrow on the show. So we're going to, I think, hopefully give everybody some stuff to watch over, and the drone will be above us, and we'll have probably some people ask about that, but it's all there just in the name of public safety and to kind of keep an eye on what's going on there. So I appreciate that very much. So I guess we need to then move to item 17. We need an executive session for setting the price of land for sale. Laura, is that still on? Are we still going to do that? Yes. So I need a motion somebody make a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Chanzit and seconded by Mayor. Okay. I guess we have to call roll on that. Clerk, call the roll.
Vote on the motion first?
We're making a motion for the executive session.
Right, okay.
That's what we're voting on.
Jansen.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Thank you. Barron. Aye. Lehman. Aye. Ayazi.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Beck. Aye. Pieper.
Aye.
11 yes, no, 3 absent.
All right, and we know what we're going to vote on. I got to ask you, because thank you for staying. You were good to have somebody in the audience watching over us.
And we're not announcing, we're not announcing any decisions following the
Right,
meeting.
we aren't going to announce.